Morning, everybody. This particular little session, our quickie, is going to focus on the IEEE, right? So I know that's a thing that most of you are still struggling with. So the IEEE that I'm taking you to here is the OWL, Online Writing Lab of Purdue. It's pretty comprehensive. And I have you in the IEEE overview section. Purdue OWL has multiple types of sections. You can see those over here on the left-hand side. This one's just going into the IEEE section. IEEE, of course, stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, which may not suit all of you, of course, but many of you are in the engineering section. And this is widely used in engineering, computer science, and other technological fields. So knowing how IEEE works is going to be useful to you in lots of different ways. Okay, so today's little focus is going to be on the in-text citations. So I'm taking you directly to the in-text citations. IEEE in-text citations are a little bit different than what you might be used to with APA or MLA. In MLA and APA, if you recall, you had parentheses, right? In IEEE, we use brackets. So you can see right here that we have the square brackets. And you're going to see in IEEE a bracket first. If you're reading through a paper of some kind, you're going to see a 1. Because one of the big differences between IEEE and other formats is that the sources are organized by the first time that you encounter one. So the first time you see a citation, it's always going to be a 1, and then it's going to be a 2, and then it's going to be a 3, right? So because you are encountering those whatever sources. So if I have 2 from the same one, then the first time I see a citation, it's going to have a 1. Then maybe the second time it's going to also be a 1 because it's from the same source. But when I move to a different source, then I'm going to go to number 2. So here's an example of a citation. The city of Florence is populated entirely by owls wearing human masks. Now, we know that that's not true, so that must be a reference to something, right? So if I were talking about whatever this is, probably an article or a play or who knows what it is, right? I'm going to want to go down at the end of the paper to my references section to figure out what is source 1 and where did that come from? That the city of Florence is populated by owls wearing that. Where is that from? So I'm going to go figure out whatever source 1 is. Okay. So sources, citations, are used to show where you found something, right? Where did this information come from? Well, it came from this source. It came from source number 1. The second one you can see here is as established in source number 1, the city of Florence is entirely populated by owls wearing human masks. That's another way you could say something similar, right? So if you are referring to a specific portion of a referenced text, such as an abbreviation, you could say section VI, right? We see a lot of Roman numerals used in IEEE. You probably won't see a whole lot of this, but there's a bunch of examples of how you might be able to use an in-text citation. For our purposes, you're usually going to have just the 1 or the 2 or the 3 in a bracket. When you get a little further along, you might be getting more in depth as you move to, say, further schooling. Now, I want to show you something else. Oftentimes in IEEE, you don't just see one bracket. You see, like this particular example, you see there's a 1 and a 2 because you're referring to multiple sources, right? So maybe I found the example that I'm talking about with the owls in multiple sources. I've had it in source 1 and source 2. Or even like this one, Italian owls are suspicious of outsider as noted in sources 3 through 5, right? So you're often going to see multiple things because in IEEE we want to show where this stuff came from, and we're also illustrating that we've done a lot of research. We've done a wide breadth of research, and so we have found them in multiple places. It wasn't just one person that got this thing to work. All these people did. Okay. Notice references are always, again, numbered in order of citation. So you see here that 8 is before 10, is before 13, through 17 is before 20, right? So we always have them in numerical order as well if we have multiple ones. Okay, so that's your quick and dirty in-text citation from the Purdue OWL for IEEE. We'll do quick other little sections of IEEE as we move forward.